iHeart, get ready. Fantasy football is here. Welcome to the Scout Fantasy Show. ScoutFantasy.com is home to the Fantasy Football World Championships and the best players in the world. Real money winners giving their secrets to help you win. Now exclusively on iHeart. This is the Scout Fantasy Show with your host, the one, the only, Dr. Roto.
Dr. Roto from Scout Fantasy Sports. And let's get to today's podcast. Let's discuss what's out there. Let's discuss some news of the day, and then we will get to some waiver wire pickups. First of all, for the Eagles, welcome back Ryan Matthews. He's back at practice. He's practicing on Wednesday. Really good chance he's playing. That's what I think, right? If he was coming back maybe Friday, that's one thing. But if he's coming back on Wednesday, I think he's going to play this week. Jordan Matthews returned to practice. I think that he plays. So I think both Matthewses, I don't even know how to say that properly, will be playing. But Dorial Green-Beckham, maybe not. He's got an oblique contusion, which, for better words, is a bruise in his oblique. Let me tell you something. A little painful when you're playing football when you've got a bruise in your oblique. So I would think that there's a good shot that Dorial Green-Beckham takes a week off. Okay? Right? If he's not out there yet, let's see what happens as the week moves further on. I just would say my guess would be he misses this week. Paul Turner looked good. They want to see him again. Nelson Aguilar looked decent for him, which is not saying much. Jordan Matthews is expected back. It wouldn't shock me to see Dorial Green-Beckham get the week off. Okay? I had mentioned this next piece of news to you before, which was, I think Deshaun Jackson's got a good chance to come back to the Eagles next year. I do. I think he's an interesting play. So, I'm just saying, this week, I love the narrative play. I love the narrative play. Deshaun Jackson coming back to Philadelphia, wants the contract, wants to get signed, knows his days are numbered in Washington. I could absolutely and positively see him wearing the green again. Absolutely see that. Will it happen? I don't know, but I could see it. How about the 49ers going with Colin Kaepernick? That's right, 49ers going with Colin Kaepernick. And what did I tell you? I told you on this very podcast, I'm playing Colin Kaepernick next week in DFS. Because he's going to be low-owned, but the Jets stink. The Jets are done. They have given up. So this is a battle of two teams who have given up. You know what that means? They're smelling blood. It means one of these teams thinks they're going to actually win a football game. And I think it's the Colin Kaepernick-led 49ers with Carlos Hyde. I think they win this game. The Jets have to travel across the country to play the 49ers? You really think they're going to get up for that game after getting shellacked at home? I don't see that coming. Maybe if they were playing the Broncos. Maybe if they were playing the Seahawks. But the 49ers? Could you imagine having tickets to that one? Imagine taking your kid to that game. You know what you're saying? This is really not what football looks like. This is just a shell of a real football game, son. All right, so there we have that. So Colin Kaepernick on the radar. On the radar. John Fox expected to be back. Well, that doesn't shock me. I don't think John Fox is a bad coach. I just think he has bad teams. But if you're asking me, do I think that the Bears are going to get much better with John Fox, my answer is no. But I don't know whether that's John Fox's fault. I know that doesn't make sense, but there's truth to that. I think sometimes when you have bad players and you're coaching bad players, there's only so much you can do. What can John Fox do? He can't do that much because his players aren't that good. He's got quarterback issues. He's got a good running back in Jordan Howard who he's allowing to play. Kevin White can't stay healthy. Zach Miller's out. What is this guy going to do? How much better is it going to get? John Fox, in the best case scenario, goes 8-8 next year and gets fired most likely, and then he goes on somewhere else, and then the next guy who takes over the Bears does well, and Fox got them to being an 8-8 team. That's just what happens in today's NFL. Just what happens. Let's see. Jason Pierre-Paul going to be out 6 to 8 weeks with sports hernia surgery. And I love the media. It's not sports hernia. It is sports hernia. It's not. It is. Well, this is a big loss for the Giants because JPP was playing for the BUCKS, the Big Bucks. And without him, I don't know. Kerry Wynn is not JPP. Kerry Wynn is a nice little player, but he ain't JPP. And I think the Giants' playoff chances go down in a big, big way. I don't think they win this week against Dallas, I'll tell you that much. Without JPP, and then they got to play the Lions? I don't know. You know I like the Giants, but I don't see it. I always like expecting the worst with the Giants. If I expect the worst, it always comes out better than that. All right, Jamie Macklin practicing in full. I told you I fully expect him to be playing on Thursday night, and we'll preview Thursday night's game tomorrow. Also, Luke Kuechly, going to be evaluated Wednesday. See if he can practice again. I don't know how I feel about that. I think he took a really big shot, and I know that this guy wants to be back. I know he wants to play. I totally get that. But man, I don't want this guy playing. What do the Panthers have to play for? Tell me. Ask yourself this question. You're the coach. You're Riverboat Ron Rivera. Congratulations. Your team stinks. You have no idea what you're doing on offense. And Luke Kuechly takes a shot where basically drool is coming down his mouth. That's how bad that shot was. I mean, the guy was crying. That's how bad it was. So now you're ready to throw him back in the lineup? You think that's responsible? Because I don't think that's very responsible. I'm being quite honest with you here. What's Carolina's upside? Not to suck that badly? So San Diego, Washington, Atlanta, Tampa Bay, 4 more games? Really? Do I really need to take a shot with this guy? How about the fact where, you know what, Luke? Dude, we love you. We want you. But I just don't know whether it's in your best interests. And you're going to say to me, Dr. Roto, maybe you're overreacting. Maybe you're wrong. If the independent neurologist clears him, why do you have a problem with that? Because once you suffer one concussion, it's easy to get another concussion. And this guy's got a huge history of concussions. This isn't his first. Every play he's concussed. See, I want Luke Kuechly to live a long, healthy life. I want Luke Kuechly to hang out with his kids and enjoy them when he's 55 years old. I want him to remember his days when he played NFL. I don't want his brain to be scrambled. To rush him back this year to play on a crappy team, not to do anything? What is that teaching? What is that doing? Oh, Luke's a tough guy. Yeah, he's a tough guy. More power to him. Get healthy. Come back next year. I really feel strongly about that. I do. I think if he comes back, I question things. And when we look and we say, well, do we want our children playing football? This is one of the reasons why you might say no. Because why do we need Luke Kuechly to be back out there right now on a team that has no chance? No chance. Really. And if anybody thinks otherwise, let's discuss that. Let's discuss that for a second. Right? The standings. They are 4-8. They are 3 games out with 4 to go. The team is going nowhere. You think if Carolina wins their next 4 games, they're 8-8. You think that makes the playoffs? Maybe. But I don't know. Making the playoffs on a team that can't go anywhere this year because they're just not very good, I don't think is worth risking the health of one of the top defensive players in all of football. It's just my opinion. You may agree, you may disagree. That's fine. I wouldn't play him. All right. Now I want to take a look at the waiver wire. Okay, we are in week 14. We've got to make great picks. We got to be smart. So let's look at some quarterbacks. I really like Joe Flacco this week. I do. And I think you're going to be telling me, Doc, you're crazy, but I'm not. The Baltimore Ravens always play the Patriots well. They just do. The games are always like 34-31. They're always high scoring. And I think Flacco is interesting. Now, I don't know if I'd play him over any of my better quarterbacks. I just think he has a good week this week, and if you're desperate, I would look at him. I've already talked about Colin Kaepernick. How about Trevor Siemian? Trevor Siemian's been pretty good, and Paxton Lynch, not very good at all. My problem this week, though, is the Titans. The Titans are going to run the football. They're going to run it down their throats. So I like Flacco. I like Kaepernick. Maybe Sam Bradford. Especially with Stephon Diggs back. You got Diggs, you got Rudolph, you got Thielen, you got McKinnon. I don't dislike that one. I can find a little love for Sammy Bradford. All right, so I would look at Flacco, Kaepernick, and Bradford as the quarterbacks of choice. At running back, let's see. Kenneth Dixon. We've talked about him all year. I just think that he's going to get more and more opportunity. How about Justin Forsett, who I picked up in a league? Look, if Devontae Booker gets injured, you might see Justin Forsett, Capri Bibbs on the IR. Right? So I'm just saying, how bad is Forsett right now? I think Forsett is kind of interesting. No Capri Bibbs. Devontae Booker not running really well. Maybe Justin Forsett does something. I don't know. Maybe nothing, but it's worth a shot. Charles Sims is expected to come off the IR. But there's a lot going on there with Doug Martin, and there's a lot going on there with Jacquizz Rodgers. I don't know what to say about Sims. I like him. He's better than Jacquizz Rodgers, that's for sure. But I just don't know what he's going to do the rest of the way. How about Rex Burkhead? That's right, Rex Burkhead is a little interesting to me. You know, Jeremy Hill doing a good job, but somebody has to back him up, and that's Rex Burkhead. And what if Jeremy Hill should get injured week 15, 16, or 17? There's Rex Burkhead for you. All right, Shane Vereen, yeah. I mean, look, maybe. Paul Perkins is not very special. I think the Giants would rather have Vereen heading into the playoffs than Paul Perkins. So I would think that Vereen is an interesting pickup too. In fact, I'll write that down. How about Vereen and Forsett? You know when the pen clicks. Dr. Roto's interested. Christian Michael, I'm very willing to see what he can do. I know James Stark stinks. He stinks. I mean, I'd like maybe something happens here. I don't know. Ty Montgomery is getting more of a shot. Ty Montgomery actually looked pretty good last week. Maybe he evolves. Let's see. So that's pretty much all at running back that I want to focus on. At wide receiver, you know I love Malcolm Mitchell. Danny Amendola's injured. Martellus Bennett's dealing with his ankle injury. I love Malcolm Mitchell in any league you can get him. Get him now. Secondly, how about Dontrell Inman? He's not sexy, but he's a decent enough player. And I like him. Right? Tyrell Williams, not 100%. Travis Benjamin, certainly not 100%. Dontrell Inman's getting the job done. I like him. Brandon LaFell seems to be out there in every league's waiver wire. I don't know why. He's the number one receiver right now for the Bengals. Tyler Boyd is good. He's not great. I like Brandon LaFell. How about Ted Ginn? Is Ted Ginn available in your league? Maybe he is. And if he is, he's absolutely a guy you should be interested in. I really like Ted Ginn. He's getting targeted all over the place. And the snap count is been pretty high for him. It's close to 70%, which is very high for a Ted Ginn. What about Chris Hogan? Chris Hogan's interesting that with Amendola out, you know they're going to 3 wide sets. And I know people are focusing on Edelman, and I'm focusing on Mitchell, but let's not forget Chris Hogan doesn't suck. Interesting player. How about Robbie Anderson? That's right, Robbie Anderson. Anderson's playing a lot of snaps. 81% of the snaps for Robbie Anderson. Is he still out there in your league? He's a little interesting to me. I don't love him. I like him. All right, at tight end, I like Ladarius Green. Okay, Jesse James is the blocker, Ladarius Green is the receiver, and Ladarius Green is the second option for Ben Roethlisberger after Antonio Brown. You know I love Ladarius Green. I like CJ Fedorowicz. I can't believe he's out there in your league, but if he is, you know I like him. What about Vernon Davis? I need to know what's going to happen with Jordan Reed. Is he playing? If Jordan Reed's playing, I don't like Vernon Davis. If Jordan Reed's not, I want VD. It's the only time in my life I ever say I want VD. Dennis Pitta, interesting. Had a big week. Don't overpay for him on the waiver wire, but you know Joe Flacco likes him. Dwayne Allen. I like Jack Doyle, but Jack Doyle disappeared and Dwayne Allen looked really good last week. How about Jermaine Gresham? Carson Palmer's starting to go to him. And remember, Carson Palmer played with Gresham in Cincinnati. Vance McDonald is interesting. I think there's a lot of depth at tight end at this point of the year. So, just throwing it out there. Gresham was in 95% of the team's plays. Vernon Davis, 98%. How about Deion Sims for Miami, 97%? It's a lot. All right, place kickers. Yeah, you're always looking for guys. I want guys who are going to get a lot of opportunities. Dustin Hopkins, Matt Prater, Janikowski. And then, of course, defense, right? Some of the defenses I like, Cincinnati. I do. I like Buffalo moving forward. I don't like Buffalo this week, but I will say that Buffalo has Ben Roethlisberger is on the road, never as good on the road, and then they get Cleveland next week, so I like Buffalo. I like Houston. I want to load up on teams that are playing Cleveland and teams that are playing Jacksonville. Those are the teams I want to load up on, right? I find those teams, I'm going to win a bunch of games. This is a critical time of year. Now listen to me, and we're going to talk about this as we move forward, but I really want you to hear what I'm saying. Years ago, I was in a league where I can't remember. I think it was, I remember the guy's name was Mack. He was a running back. Kelvin Mack, Ernest Mack. I don't know. It was a lot of years ago. And I played a guy who was my starter, but I should have gone with this other guy, Mack. And Mack outscored my starter who was the better player. So just imagine, for instance, let me give it to you in today's terms. Let's say, for argument's sake, that I had, give me a running back. Let me just use Doug Martin. Okay, let's say I had Doug Martin. But I had, let's say, what I would call, Kenneth Dixon was like my Mac, Ernest Mack, right? Yes, I know Doug Martin is my starter. And I know the old adage is never bench your starters. But I don't believe that anymore. That's what I'm really trying to get at. I want the best matchups. I don't care if I'm going to play Rex Burkhead. If I think Rex Burkhead is going to give me 8 points and I think Todd Gurley is going to give me 7, I'm going to play Rex Burkhead. Now, I do want to lean toward my best players because my best players are my best players for a reason. But that being said, this is the playoffs. This is so critical right now. I can't screw this up. Every point counts and can give me a lot of money at the end of this. So if I think Rex Burkhead is going to get me 10 points and I think that Doug Martin is going to give me 7, Rex Burkhead is my guy. So please don't fall victim to, I must play my starters. You must play the guys that are going to help you win. That's what you must do. That's what you must do. All right. It's time now to put away the insurance cards, put away the copay. The office is closed, my friends. I want to thank you guys for listening to this podcast, and I also want to encourage you, if you're not, to be a member of scoutfantasy.com. Enter the promo code ROTO, pay for 1 month, and we'll get you 2 more for free. This will also enable you to get our Scout scores, which you can use for the NBA and for the NFL. These Scout scores help you pick your teams each night on DFS and make the best decisions you can. Because we're telling you guys who the best value plays are. Plus, on top of that, for seasonal leagues, you're getting Adam Ronis, Sean Childs, Dr. Roto, Mark Deming, Joe Jefferson. You're getting people writing articles for you. Matt DeLima, Matt Brandon, people working really, really hard to give you the best information out there. And you know what else you're getting? You're getting access to our premium member forums where you could ask your questions, which we'll get back to you. And then other people, other Scout Army members. What do they think? What do they want to do with their lineups? Be part of what we're doing at Scout Fantasy, and I think you'll appreciate it. Promo code ROTO, that's ROTO, pay for 1 month, you get 2 more for free. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening. Good luck on your waiver wires tonight. We're back tomorrow to preview the Thursday game, to go through more news and notes. Be well, and take care.
Thanks for listening to the Scout Fantasy Show. There's never been a better time to join the Scout Army. Visit scoutfantasy.com. Use the promo ROTO for 2 months free. And don't forget, fantasy players, please thumbs up the podcast on the iHeart app. See you next time. Go Scouts!